Hi, I'm Johnny, and today's topic is the Suns clinching, the Clippers should stop fighting, the Lakers beat the Grizzlies, and the 76ers and Bucks are in trouble.
No vest.
Today is Sunday, so I believe most fans probably watched the games. Therefore, let's change our approach today by discussing the current state of each team and post-game thoughts, without going into much detail about the games themselves. Let's start with the first piece of news. The Raptors have parted ways with head coach Nick Nurse. This isn't surprising because the Raptors were eliminated in the first round last season and didn't make the playoffs this season. Frankly, someone must be held responsible, and the team will definitely make roster adjustments during the offseason. Looking at the salary table, contracts for Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., and Jacob Poeltl have all expired. Additionally, Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby could be traded. In fact, many teams were pursuing these two forwards during the season, but the Raptors' asking price was too high. However, with Siakam's contract ending next season, the front office must make a choice. The team's future will revolve around Scottie Barnes. In such a situation, parting ways with head coach Nick Nurse is not a problem. To put it bluntly, it's a changing of the guard. The Rockets are reportedly very interested in Nick Nurse, and personally, I would love to see him join the Rockets. Let's keep an eye on this development. Before we move on to the next topic, please hit the like button for our video. Your support is our greatest motivation to keep making content. Thank you. Next, let's focus on the 76ers versus Nets. After defeating the Nets today, the 76ers became the first team in the league to advance to the second round. Congratulations to the 76ers fans. However, let's first talk about the Nets. Their problem remains the same. They need to find a stable ball handler during the offseason, as relying solely on Mikal Bridges and Spencer Dinwiddie is not enough. Fans should know that although Bridges performed well during the regular season, his performance in the recent 3 playoff games was not as good, with a field goal percentage of around 40%. This is understandable given the increased intensity of the playoffs. In fact, players like Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and even Pascal Siakam from the Raptors are potential targets for the Nets. Nevertheless, the young players on the Nets performed very well this season, but it's a shame they were swept out without a single victory. As for the 76ers, winning is undoubtedly a reason to be happy. However, the concern now is their top scorer, Joel Embiid, and his injury situation. Besides sitting out today's game, according to head coach Doc Rivers, whether Jojo can play in the second round is still a small question. To be honest, Jojo's fall in Game 3 against the Nets was not light. The good news is that with the team's confirmed advancement, Jojo can rest well. As for the injury, let's stick to official updates. Speaking of injuries, the Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo did not play in today's game either, and what's even more troubling is that the Bucks lost to the Heat, putting the Heat 2-1 ahead in the series. The Heat made a necessary adjustment by starting Kevin Love, as the height of Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis could bring a lot of pressure on the Heat. Apart from Jimmy Butler's 30 points, another player to pay attention to is Duncan Robinson, who came off the bench and contributed 20 points. He made 5 3-pointers in the game, so with Tyler Herro injured, Robinson got more opportunities to play. In short, he's not unusable, but with so many backcourt players, there's just no room for him on the court. The Heat's backcourt also features former All-Star Victor Oladipo, who scored 8 points in today's game. However, he got injured during the game and was eventually helped off the court by teammates. Fans should know that Oladipo has been plagued by injuries in recent seasons, so seeing this is quite upsetting. As for his injury, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Regardless of whether Oladipo can return to the court in this series, the Heat's backcourt should be deep enough, with players like Kyle Lowry and Max Strus on the roster. Next, let's talk about the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo has missed 2 consecutive games, and with the team trailing 1-2, he probably doesn't have room to rest anymore. In fact, his fall was not light. Simply put, if the Bucks had won today, I think he would continue to rest, but now the team has no room to retreat. After all, if the Heat wins again, they will advance. So, Giannis is likely to play through injury. The trouble is that it's only April 23rd, and there's still some time until June. If he plays injured now, it could affect his performance in the coming games, which is a problem for the Bucks. The Clippers are another team plagued by injuries, with Kawhi Leonard missing 2 consecutive games. Today, the Clippers lost to the Suns 100-112, which means the Suns are 1 win away from advancing. In this game, Russell Westbrook scored 37 points, which means in the 2 games without Leonard, he has scored 30-plus points. His problem hasn't changed. He can handle single and dual-core lineups, but struggles in a triple-core lineup since he's a player who needs the ball in his hands. Regardless, Westbrook has improved his field goal and 3-point percentages since joining the Clippers. Additionally, he seems to be enjoying his time with the team, which was less apparent during his time with the Lakers. As for Norman Powell, who scored 42 points in the previous game, he only scored 14 points today, which was a major reason for the team's loss. Although the Suns won, their bench only contributed 9 points. In other words, the starting lineup scored 103 points. Both Kevin Durant and Devin Booker played over 40 minutes in this game. Frankly, if the Suns have to rely so heavily on their starters to beat a Leonard-less Clippers team, I'm curious about how far this team can go. The Suns are now 1 win away from advancing, so their coach can afford to be bold in his rotations. Speaking of being on the verge of advancing, there have been NBA teams that have managed to come back from a 1-3 deficit to win a series, such as the 2016 Cavaliers or the 2020 Nuggets, who pulled off a 1-3 comeback against the Clippers themselves. However, completing such a comeback is still very difficult. So, the Clippers now face a simple question: should Kawhi Leonard return this season? Or should we say, if he returns, can the Clippers definitely complete a comeback? If not, or if the chances are slim, the team may have to consider letting go of this season. After all, Paul George is also injured, and both players' contracts will be up after next season, with both having player options. Will they stay? No one knows. The Clippers could treat next season as their last-ditch effort, otherwise letting Leonard return now might risk another injury, potentially affecting the start of next season. Personally, I think Leonard doesn't have to come back, and Westbrook can lead the team going forward with a roster adjustment in the offseason. I have to be honest, I believe Clippers fans must be very disappointed and even angry because they've been looking forward to a healthy lineup every year with the hope of winning a championship, but they've never been able to achieve that. So, the next season might be the last straw for not only the fans but also the team itself. Moving on to the Grizzlies vs. Lakers game, the Lakers opened with a strong 35-9 run in the first quarter. However, the Grizzlies responded with a 28-18 run in the second quarter, and the Lakers led by only 16 points at halftime. The Lakers maintained their lead throughout the second half and entered the fourth quarter with a 20-point advantage. Although the Grizzlies closed the gap to 10 points towards the end of the fourth quarter, the Lakers secured the win at home 111-101, taking a 2-1 lead in the series. Ja Morant scored 45 points for the Grizzlies, with 24 points coming in the fourth quarter alone. Without his scoring spree, the Lakers would have pulled away earlier, so his explosive scoring ability is undeniable. However, the player we need to discuss is Dillon Brooks. He was ejected in the third quarter for hitting LeBron James in a sensitive area while trying to steal the ball. Honestly, there was some distance between the ball's position and where he hit. Regardless of whether it was intentional or not, being ejected is a fact. My opinion on this is simple: since James Harden of the 76ers was ejected 2 days ago for a similar move, I believe it's reasonable that Brooks was ejected as well. As for the Lakers, it's relatively simple, as we mentioned in yesterday's live stream. As long as AD can perform at his usual level, the Lakers will have the advantage. In this game, AD scored 31 points and grabbed 17 rebounds, including 15 points in the third quarter alone. Additionally, this season's Defensive Player of the Year, JJJ, had foul trouble, so he only played 9 minutes in the first half. Once the Grizzlies were without him, both their offense and defense suffered, which is why we've been emphasizing that the Lakers should challenge the Grizzlies' restricted area more. After all, experienced Grizzlies center Steven Adams is currently injured. Another Lakers player we need to discuss is Rui Hachimura, who contributed 16 points today. It's worth noting that he's been averaging 21 points in this playoff series. As long as he can maintain this level of performance, it will expand the team's frontcourt advantage, especially since they have AD and LeBron James. It seems that many core players have been injured this postseason, which is not good news for fans or the league. We hope that all teams can stay healthy moving forward, so fans can enjoy more exciting games.